Great evening, everyone. Noble, you are so previous. Great evening to you, Noble. Oh, Lord. Great evening, everyone, and welcome back to our Tuesday night program. Let's talk the program where you are educated, informed, and inspired. I am your host, Ancelena Versatility Boy, the versatile one, and you are on the channel where you get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So, guys, this evening, topic of discussion will be focused on the theme for Parent Month: reignite the village. So, this evening, our presenter would be Mrs. Ezrian Bailey Anderson. And I am just looking forward to a wonderful discussion where we bring to light what used to happen in the past and what is now happening in society. And we want to make a contrast with both then and now to see how things have changed, why things have changed, and what can be done about it. What can we do to reignite the village? Is it something that will work today with this present generation, or we continue as it is? But we do know, as the Minister of Education will put it that we need the collaboration with the community, the teachers, the schools, and the caregiver, and more so the parents. So we want to talk, we want to share it this evening. We want to discuss how we can reignite the village. So as you come on this evening, don't forget to give this live a thumbs up, share your thoughts, comment, and also share out the video so others can join us this evening and be educated, be informed, and be inspired. Also, if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please click that subscribe button and be added to my fans, my viewership. All right, my subscribers. So, guys, just bear with me for another few minutes as our presenter will prepare to join us this evening. So, guys, I am also looking forward to having some elderly folks just sharing as it relates to back then when the village was so involved in the lives of children. It was not just so much about the parents, the child and the parents, but also the village, the community being involved in the development of our children and society at large. All right, guys, so just stay tuned and please share out the live. Great evening, Sister Mariel. Welcome. When you are ready, you can join us here on the platform. Noble, congratulations on winning which run. I did not win it. That was just I did not win it, my dear. When you say I'm the next Shelley, no, my dear, I did not win it. I believe I came somewhere down in the teens. Yes, yes, my dear, I did not win. I'm not that athletic. All right, greetings once again, everyone. So, our presenter is on. I'm not sure if she's ready, and also one of our panelists this evening is here, and she will be sharing with us also. So, if our presenter is ready, I will now hand over to her, allow her to introduce herself. She is no stranger to this platform, and she can get straight into her presentation. Mrs. Anderson, are you ready? All right, so she is not quite yet ready for us.
Good
So,
evening, everyone.
okay, she is ready.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mrs. Boyd, for this opportunity to be here to share again with these wonderful people. Our topic for this evening is reignite the village. And for those of us who are parents at present, they have children attending school, then we would be aware that the school is using that theme also, especially that we are now coming out of Parent Month. This
Right.
is the theme that was used for this year's Parent Month, right? And the theme Reignite the Village is the theme of this year's National Parent Month. I have mentioned the theme is in alignment with the spirit of Jamaica's 60th. That's our 60th year of independence, right? And this is a call for parents to take action, to be actively present in their children's life and also to be responsible for their immediate village, the village that you would have been living in. So before we go any further, as our theme says, reignite our village. But for us to actually, for the purpose of this presentation this evening, we look at what is a village and also what does it mean to reignite. So, for the purpose of this presentation, a village is a group of houses that are and associated buildings that are larger than a hamlet but smaller than a town situated in a rural area, right? And this could be like a fishing village, or another definition is a self a self-contained district or community within a town or city, regarded as having features and characteristics of village life. What does it mean to reignite? So reignite something, it simply means it begins to burn again. So there was once a fire, there
Right.
was once something there, right? And it starts to burn again. And in regards to reigniting our village, we'll be referring to our Jamaican culture, what we were accustomed to back then in comparison to what is happening now. So the Jamaican culture is so rich and it varies in different ways and forms. And as our motto says, we are out of many, one people. So our culture is very rich. We have a mixture of different islands. We have the Africans coming to Jamaica. We have the European aspects of our culture, which is very dominant, right? This claim is evident in our religious beliefs also and practices out of many one people. Our music also, our dance, our works of art, and our foods. It is from the diversity of the different cultures that would have actually came to Jamaica, right? We have the Indians, which are the Indians and the Chinese are also a part of a population, but they are indentured laborers, meaning, and as we are coming out of Parent Month, Mrs. Boyd, perhaps I would have learned it in school years ago, but honestly, when my daughter is preparing for PEP now they call it. And,
Yes.
assisting her to prepare for PEP, I am learning all over again,
Yes.
actually. Because I don't know if I know it before, but, going through a social studies with her, I became reaccustomed to what an indentured laborer is or who they are and who are the indentured laborers, how they came to Jamaica, and the terminology on which they came. So the indentured laborers, which are the Chinese, and the East Indians, they would have come to Jamaica to work on contract, right? So the contract is that when they came, they worked for a plantation. Sorry about that. They came to work on plantation for a particular number of years. Then they'll be free
5 years,
to
then
either
it
stay at.
extends to 10.
Right. They would either free to go or stay. So with that being said, along with our slaves that would have come to Jamaica and indentured, they all make up our culture. And
Right.
to reignite the village would have been trying to preserve what was there before. So we see nowadays that we are moving further and further away from the culture, what we are accustomed to. Right? I remember I was attending I think it was a parenting seminar, it was last week. And, I have garnered so much information. So I really appreciate this tagline that we would have ventured, reignite our village. I would have learned a lot. And parents, we as parents have a due cause and due responsibility to or towards our children to teach them the culture, the Jamaican culture in which we grew up in our village, right? And um, there was a tagline that we were using also while we were there. It says that each time we speak our nationality, we speak of our capacity. Meaning that each time we say that we are Jamaican, we are actually, when we think about the last four words, so it's JAMAICAN. So when we think about the last four letters of your
Yes.
nationality, you're saying I can, right? So each time we speak our nationality, we are speaking our capacity. So in reigniting our village, compare, the culture has been shifted so much, and we need to shift it back in the direction it because let me tell you, it used to work. It has been working. Um, Gone are the days when I remember as a child growing up. There were days when we couldn't eat our meals, say especially on a Sunday. And for me, I know that my mom used to take care of a lady by the name of Becky, we would call her. And let me tell you, we couldn't eat our dinner until Becky ate her dinner. We would have to get the tree carrier thing there, the tree tier. I don't know, even Sister Boyd, if you're familiar with that tree tier carrier thing. You have three plate on it. So you have one, two, three. You know that three layer thing? It was made out of enamel then, but one at the time it start making
Okay.
out of plastic. So we'd have to take that to Becky first before we eat our dinner, right? We'd have to learn. So these are the things that we need to bring back in our society. We are trying to reignite our village, right? How to care for the elderly. I am seeing now where children are passing and they look you straight in the face. They don't even say how they do. They don't even say good morning. And I am coming from the culture that says a village
Great.
raise a child, right? That is the culture that persons born in the 80s, the 70s, and go back down to the generation Y and the generation X and the baby boomers, as we call it. That is the culture that we are used to, where the children will be grown by the village. But I'm seeing nowadays, you can't even talk to a person. A matter of fact, back in those days when you pass an elderly, right? And you don't say, oh, they do. They're not going to complain to your parents, They are going to give you a flagging. And then when you go home now, if your parents hear about it, sometimes you'd have to keep that flagging to yourself because if
Right.
you tell your parents about that flagging, it's
Like it's
flagging
another
number
one.
two. Why you pass Miss Mary or why you pass Miss Jane? But nowadays, I have noticed persons pass you. I have had that personal experience. I am now passing young people on the road, young men, young boys, and I have no one have to be saying good morning. How are you? or you understand, I have to be initiating the conversation. Well,
Yes.
it is in contrast to what I am used to back in the days. So we are seeing where we as parents, we need to get back to the old landmark to reignite the village, right? I am seeing now where the children have become so lazy. And I am thinking in the way where when I was growing up, whether I am going to school or not, I would have to get up at a certain time. Nowadays, I see children sleeping till 12 o'clock in the days. 12 midday, children are just waking up, right? If they're not going to school, they're waking up midday and they're waking up all in the evening too. Because they go to bed late at night and in the morning, they can't get up. Back in the days when I was growing, right, I had to get up well as daylight. And the funny thing about it now, when it was happening to me back then, I did not appreciate it. And I am telling you, I was so upset with my mother because, there are certain things in the house is a mother duty. The father has his duty, but certain things is the mother that do certain things. So, definitely that daddy is going to do this, and that mommy is going to do that. So in the mornings when we are getting up, is mommy that normally come and pull the curtain wide open, open up the window and open up the doors, pull out the sheet, mosquitoes start biting you, and get up, let fresh breeze come into the house and stuff like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
man, we have to get up. And the funny thing about it now, when I was going to school used to start at 7 o'clock in the morning. If you because we used to have shift school then. School
Right.
starts 7 o'clock, and I had to get to school for 7 o'clock. And when I'm going to school in the morning, I have to carry water to fully jump. And I'm not saying that we're supposed to go back to those days, but I am seeing what I want to get at. Let me say this. I used to carry water and fully jump because there was no pipe at the yard. I had to take the broom weed we used to use then, and I have to
Yeah.
sweep up the yard. I have to get up in the morning and catch the coal fire because my mother not coming out until it's time to put on the pot. The fire catch already, that's the only time she come out and she make the breakfast. But we had to get up and we had to prepare the coal stove. My father used to have donkey, goat, and cow. And
Yeah.
the cow, yeah, the cows now, we had to tie out the cows, we have to tie out the donkeys. The goats now, compared to now, back then, the goats were free. They didn't have any rope. The goats just come in the evening. They go down, they call down near gully. They go down by the pasture, they feed, they come back up. Nowadays you can't even let go your goats. You
Yes.
tie up your goat, or you have your goat in a pen, and you still have to be watchful where your goat is concerned. So it's like the culture has shifted. There is no trust anymore. So
Yes.
many things are happening, right? There's that level of security anymore. And these are some of these things that we need to instill or reinstill in our children, right? And I also want to get to the point where when I go to school, if I'm on the morning shift, when I go to school and I come back home, when I come back home, there's still responsibility there because
Yes.
my parents have used up the water in the drum and we'd have to bring more water to put in the drum. And if the goat was tied here, not the goat, the cow, and the donkey was tied here in the day, in the morning when we go back home, we'd have to move the donkey, move the goat to find, they eat up all the grass that is there, so you have to move them to go somewhere else so that they get more grass. I'm saying this not to say that we used to teach our children to be responsible, right? We used to
Yeah.
teach them to be responsible. These are some of the things that would have taught them how to be responsible. They get a little go. I'm not saying that we should go back to the days now where we are carrying water in our heads. We have moved away from that. Some things we'll not go back to, but in terms of the discipline, right? And the values that we instill in our children, how to be responsible, right? I am seeing nowadays where you have to be down on your children or ensure that your uniform is clean, ensure that your shoes is clean, right? Back in my days, we know that it's our responsibility to do it. Miss Boyd, I don't know if you have ever had the experience where your mama even wait till you fall asleep and don't bed. I don't know if you ever had that experience. When I fall asleep and I don't take a shower before I bed, my mother just allow me to fall asleep. And in the middle of that sleep, when the sleep
Yeah,
sweet,
wake you up.
wake me up, wake me up,
It's a nice
wake
slap.
me up with a nice slap too. And then they go in the I go in the bathroom, and wash my foot and come back out. And when I come back out now, sometimes I just wash the front and left the back. They feel your back and they send you back into the bathroom again. And you have to go and do it all over again. And sometimes honestly beard, but me do it too fast. And like I said, my mother said, you know, be a good man, go back a bathroom
And
again.
you're back in the
And
bathroom again.
go back in the bathroom again. So nowadays, I find out that some children they don't want to even bathe. They bathe one time for the day and that's it. Back in
Yes.
the days, we used to have to bathe 2 times a day, right? And even in this COVID now, I am seeing where the COVID have affect our social culture because persons are now locked in their house, and if you check it out, you have to wonder if no clothespin left on the line because everything are online now. Everything are online. You have for real, you have to wonder if no clothespin left online because everything are online, everything pin out. So therefore, and then when we were growing up, we used to have dandy shandy, and I think this is affecting our society where persons are not communicating with each other anymore. We are
Mm-hmm.
not building that bond. We are not having that bond anymore. Because you grow up, you play dolly house, you play dandy shandy, you're out there, you tie up the rubber, a rubber name or elastic band, and
Elastic
you
band.
join them, you join them, you join them. I don't remember that what that game is. Chinese skip.
Yeah,
You
Chinese. A
play,
Chinese gift? Yes, I think it's
you
Chinese
play
gift.
Chinese skip, you play dandy shandy, and those times you get to
And Bataway
socialize the
ball. Bataway ball. I used to love that one.
baseball. We used to play baseball. But
Yes.
now, if you check it out, domino, you can't find domino on the phone. You alone can play against yourself. You find Ludi on the phone. You alone can play against yourself. Or you're playing with some persons that you don't even know who you're playing with. So this causes a breakdown in the village, immediate village, because
But
persons not
um,
coming out. You have something to say, Miss White?
yes, I just want to ask a question though, because we're saying that the breakdown and what used to happen and it's not happening now. I want to ask you, can we first identify though the cause of the change? What do you think is the cause of the change?
All right. So for me, for the cause of the change, right? Back is technology is one. I believe technology is one of the cause of the change because back those that time we didn't have computer to go on like that. We didn't have phones. We didn't have tablets. We didn't have Wi-Fi. So you see, computer has its pros and it has its cons, right?
Yes, true.
Right. I believe that's one of the things. And also, I believe that the bonding and the relationship that we had back then, and the respect, the love that we had back then, we don't have it now. Because back in those days, I think there was more unity. Persons were more unified than we are now. Because
Mm-hmm.
now, what I am realizing, if the children are outside and they are playing and there is a conflict, I am thinking too, but I have to do more research on it because I'm thinking too if I wouldn't say that it's because it's younger persons have it persons now are becoming parents.
Mm-hmm.
I am not I have not done enough research on that because back in the days you have young people who also have become parents too. But I
Yeah.
am realizing that now that even though they were young, they were more mature, or they have that background, they have that closeness, they have that network. So
Not
even though
only
they were
that, as
young,
you mentioned, not only that, but as you mentioned, They were taught responsibility.
That again too.
That is
They
the
were
thing.
taught responsibility.
Right. So they
And
were more responsible than the teenage moms know or the younger moms know. I think that is one of the problem.
that is yes, that can be one of the problems
Yeah.
because and also too in our society today. Uh, I know that children have a right to education. You can't deny that. So you can't take the child out of school to babysit or they
Right.
have to stay with little sister, they have to stay with little brother. But if you look at the Chinese, and that is also a part of our culture,
Yes.
right? And of course, I say no, oh, Chinese take over Jamaica. Chinese are here a long time, and we have inherited a lot of their culture.
Right.
They are a part of who we are. If you look at the Chinese, if you go into the store, their children, whether they are homeschool or they are going to private school, you see them have them in the store and they're teaching them stuff just the same. But we know we call it child labor. We don't want to have them around to teach them stuff.
Yeah.
So they don't grasp that sense of responsibility from their in their early days. There are certain things that we could have taught them, which is a part of our culture. But the younger parents now are deviating from that, and I believe too that we are trying to. I know we love them, and we are trying to give them a better life than the life that we would have had. But
Yeah.
I think we have to strike a balance, right? With
That's right.
right mixing the contemporary approach with the contingency approach as well. So the thing about it now, I realize that we have well most of the parents that I realize that it is happening to, they have good intentions, right? They have good intention for their children, and some of the things too, some of the time too, we are leaving too much of the responsibilities on our teachers. That's are the teachers by profession.
Again. Say it again.
I know this boy is going to say amen as if we are in church. Being that you're a teacher by profession. But it is true. We are leaving too much of the pressure on the teachers. Teachers are supposed to teach them this, teacher are supposed to, but the teacher, you see, that's why we have a body that is called the PTA, right? The Parent Teachers Association. So both the parents and the teachers have to work together. But the minute the child is at home, and the child start get trouble, they are dead for school open, right?
Yes.
You want to send back the child to school. And imagine the teacher have so many different background dealing with. This child coming to her from a background, another child come to her from a different background. So by the time the teacher to take time out to deal with all of the different personalities, it is very or him, because you have male teachers. By the
Yes.
time the teacher is supposed to take the time out to deal with all of the personalities, then there won't be any time left to teach. So the parents need to step in and to play our part. We as parents need to step in and to play our part.
Yes.
And
Be more
the
involved.
culture has shifted so much because I remember back in the days, I don't know if Miss Boyd would have remembered. Miss Boyd, when we were going to school, you remember what we used to call special?
It's special. When you
Hmm.
special like in the back juice.
We used to call the patty and the cocoa bread special.
But oh, the patty and the cocoa bread. I wasn't a
Yes,
cocoa bread lover.
yes. We used to call the patty and the cocoa bread special. But down
Mm,
to the talk of the children have changed because now, if you go back to school or anywhere, you can go ask your patty and a cocoa bread. If you ask, like, sell me a special. Especially Miss Boy that we are from a Christian background. You go, yes, sell me a special.
yes.
Oh, Ancelena, I see Miss Boyd and she was ordering Roma what?
Yes.
Roma and boom.
That's the
Roma and
special
boom.
now.
That's a special now. So the code and everything would have changed, right? Our minds would have shifted because I back in the days when I hear a young man talk about him artful, him a talk about a girl when love. And nowadays when I hear a man talk about him artful, you hear me say I'm drinking rum and Red Bull, NSC make me artful. So everything does change. You
Yes.
understand? We have moved away from so many things. And how do we get back there?
Parenting
That's
style change.
parenting style. How
Yes,
we get back there.
change. All right, before
And
before we move on as to how we get back there, I'm gonna share some of the comments in the chat. All right, so Noble is saying sometimes when I tell people morning, they don't even answer me, and from that I don't tell them morning again. She's also sharing Usain Bolt's experience. She said that Usain Bolt said that every morning he passed this lady and tell her morning, and the lady don't answer him. And one morning he decided he was not going to tell her morning, and that day the lady went to his father and, well, I guess, complained to the father, and he got a beating for it. So she's saying, I don't understand when you tell people morning, they don't want to answer you, and I wonder why. I would wonder why too, Noble. And Sister Nas is saying, socialization is different then and now. Mrs. Anderson?
you're back over to me.
Yes.
All
Did
right.
you get
So
pointers that I shared from the chat?
yes, I heard it. Yes, I heard them. For Miss Noble, I know that my daughter, my oldest daughter, Alicia, was having that problem once. She was saying to me that when she called a person sometime, or was it most time, Alicia? Well, she said most time the persons don't respond, so she don't call to people anymore. Because I remember I was walking with her on the road and, calling to persons. And she said that, he said, why you not calling? I know someone grow you. Why you not calling to persons? She said, Mummy, when I call to persons, they don't respond. I said, okay. Walk with her. And I said, good morning. And she said, good morning also. And what I realized, the persons answered me, but they did not answer her. And you know what the problem was? Alicia is soft spoken and she was not projecting her voice
Oh,
for
so
the
they did not
persons to
hear.
hear. The persons did not hear. So I was like, good morning. Alicia was like, good morning. Because she's soft spoken. So it's not that the persons didn't, I don't know if that's the case with Miss Noble, but I know for my daughter that had shared that experience with me. The persons were not hearing her.
Yes.
So, Miss Noble, I would suggest that you ensure that the persons would have heard you, right? Ensure that they hear, and when they don't answer no, you know that they definitely did not want to answer. But ensure that they hear when you call to them or anything like that. Um, Miss Henry Williams was saying that socialization now is different from then. Is she able to speak on it to tell what she means, Miss Boyd, she's not in the stream yard?
She's not on the
I comment in the
street,
chat.
but
I
you
comment
could
in the
comment
chat.
in the chat, Sister Nasa, if you want to join us and share, let me know. So just expound on what you mean when you said socialization is different now and then. Also, I would like you to speak to the point that she shared about Usain Bolt, where she said normally Usain Bolt will pass a particular lady and say good morning, and that lady wouldn't answer. And the one morning he decided that, listen, I'm not gonna say good morning to this lady because she has not been answering. That's the morning the lady decided to go and report him to his father, and he got a beating for it.
Well, in my opinion, I believe the lady feel like she was entitled. She was entitled to the good morning, even though she wasn't answering. Because that is the village I was coming from. Yes, I believe she
But
felt
does it make
entitled.
sense though? Does it make sense? Because we are parents, we are supposed to teach our children to be what? Respectful, right? Respect the elders.
Right,
So if the
right.
elders are not giving the respect or showing the respect to the children, then they're gonna lose respect for them. So don't expect me to say good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and you're not responding. I am human. I am human. At some
Well,
point,
that
I am
is
going
true.
to stop.
And Miss Boyd, persons, you have persons that are like that. I remember this particular lady. She's a pastor too. Won't call her name. I won't use names here. And from I know myself as a child, every time I pass that lady, I call to that lady every time because I was very fond of her, you know. But when
Yes,
when I grow older now, I realize that it's me calling to the lady every time. And so now I decide that I am not one even a person lady, and I did not call to the lady. I think what is in the time that my cousin and it's like it was even intentional because me just always call to her. And
yes,
I remember in the time when my cousin had died and I was coming from work and I was going to visit my cousin's spouse and before I reach home, because I would have reached that yard before I reach home. So going to look for my cousin's spouse now and it was the only thing on my mind. What am I going to say to her? Because she's young.
yes,
She's a very young girl. And I was saying, what am I going to say to her? I don't know what to say. There's nothing I could have said. And that was all on my mind. And Miss Boyd, I walked past the lady. And I saw her from when I was up the road, but I am a fast walker. So I walk fast, catch her up, pass her, and with my conflicting in my own thoughts, not even realize that I passed the lady. So the lady went and tell her church sister, oh, the member from Donna, for our church, pass her. I don't call to her. Yes, it was just like that. And like every time I call to this lady, and the one time I don't call to her, she went and report me to her church sister. Yes, so persons are like that. You'll
yes,
find persons like that. Yes, but to each his own.
yes,
But I think you saying father taught him a valuable lesson still to respect people no matter what. Even the respect is not given back to you. The respect is for you as an individual. I believe that that is what was taught. Respect, even if you're not respected, show respect because that's who you are and that should be a part of your being. You're not supposed to give to get, but just to give where respect is concerned. So, Miss Boyd, my question to you, what would you have done as a parent in that situation?
the situation where my child is telling you
Yes,
good morning every morning and you're not, I would
yeah.
not beat my child for that.
What would you have done?
I would definitely not beat my child for that. As you said, we have to give respect despite of, and that is something I believe. But I would not put Alina in a situation where I feel that she deserved and she should be respected and she should be shown respect as a human being too. So it would be her choice if she choose not to call to that individual again. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have counseled my child. That it is your choice in this day and age if you don't want to call to him or her again. Because I believe if I am passing you and I'm saying good morning to you, it's only just be polite. Good morning or hello. That's it. It's not going to cost you anything. That is my opinion. And that's what I
All
would.
right. So, listening to your opinion now, Miss Boyd.
Yes.
So then, in this day and age,
Yes.
so how do we reignite the village in this day and age? If back in the
Reignite.
days, then
Yes, but back in the days, is it a case where, all right, it is okay. I am expected as a child, and I know because yes, in my time, yes, we are expected to show respect, say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. But is it that you are going to abuse the situation? As you said, the lady felt as if she is entitled. So because say yes, this is how it ought to be. And Selena is supposed to say good morning and good afternoon. So all right, so just say it and you're gone, and I don't need to respond. No man, that cannot be the case. We have to show it and earn it. Show it and give it. Or give it. Oh, may I say no? Yes, man. You have to give it and to get it. Give it to get it. That's it for me. So it has to be a two-way fall. If we're going to reignite the village, We have to know as adult that we also need to respect our children. They have a voice as well. We need to respect them. If we want them to respect us, we have to respect. The important thing for us as adults, we have to model. That is it, We have to model for our children. Like what the Bible said, what? Don't be only what? Hearer of the word, but also be the doer of the word. So don't tell me to do something. Okay, so I am talking and my presenter was on off. So as I am saying, don't tell me to do something that you are not doing. We have to model what we want. We have to be the example for our children. That's what I believe.
And I believe for the most part, that was how it back in the days. But you're going to find a few like that lady that Usain Bolt would have met that felt
Yes,
entitled. But I believe back in the days, persons used to model what they want their children to do.
yes.
So, like I was making reference to taking care of the elderly, right? If my
Mm-hmm.
parents would have cooked the meal, and sometimes there are even times when I have to go and change the pampers, change the clothes, if my
Yeah,
mother wasn't available, right? So they were modeling all of that, and they call to persons and persons call to them and they respect persons, right?
right.
So there are
Yes,
persons that you normally used to do that, right? So, but you will find one and two because it's not like in every village, even back then, not even back then, you find that
yes,
it was all perfect. It's just that it was much more close knitted than now. Because I even remember as a little girl growing up,
yes.
I used to go down by the gully every day to pick mango where there was a lot of bushes, thick
Yeah,
bushes.
a mango
Go down
walk.
there by myself, that mango walk. Can I
Yeah,
try that in this day and age? No, can't try that in this day and age. I see my daughter walking on the road to come from school, to come to where I live. And this evening when I see certain, I know that she has extra lessons. And this evening I see certain time come and she's walking on the road now, it's not bushes. As a certain time when she don't come, I was in the kitchen catching some water to go out and I saw her come through the door because I called my mom first and I said, you see my daughter pass? And she was like, she left the shop and she went home so she wouldn't know. I was going out there to look for her because in this day and age you can't take no chances. Back
yeah.
then I go mango walk by myself. I wasn't afraid of rapists. I wasn't afraid of thief.
You can't know.
You can't. No, back in those days, you know what I know that the young men, 16, 12, 14, when you have one of those, you're a star, a slingshot. And they call it the bingy, right?
Yeah,
They have the bingy and they walk and they shoot bird. When you have one of those, you're a star. It's a different day and age now. You understand? And we used to teach our boys skills. That is the next thing. We used to teach our boys skills. You see, the father is teaching the son how to make the box chuck and to pull it. And you used to have, and there were two type of chucks back then, as I can remember. You have the
yes.
box chuck where you make with the box drink box, so you pull it. You have a next chuck where you have a stick like a broomstick, them long stick there. You have one little cross part on the bottom with two little wheel on the two side there. And you have one little handle where you turn it with a string. I don't know if you remember that Chuck Ancelena, or if anyone of
I
your brothers used
remember
to
the
use
box
that.
one.
No, you have another one that you push man with a little thing at the top. So there are two type of chucks. The one with the little stick where you turn like they have the cat where you turn the type of chuck, but it's like a stick one. So boys used to make gigs, use a machete and they chop out the gig and when they have that in their hand asleep or them call it. So they
Mm-hmm.
were learning skills back then and they were spending time with their dads at that time. So they were in that day and age at the same time they were learning how to use a machete, right? The- and the funny thing about it, you have a lot of males who can use a machete. You have a lot of males. Believe me, you have a lot of males now don't know how to
I,
use a machete.
I never touched a machete before.
I've never used a lot of males now don't even know what gig make. Right? They don't know
Yeah,
what gig make. If you right, you ask them what slingshot make, they can't tell you. Right? But back in my days, don't to me know how to make slingshot back in my days. I try to make gig, but they never
okay.
work out. I can't put in the nail.
Yes.
Yeah, I try to make the gig. So they were learning carving, they were learning responsibility, and they were spending time with their parents, and they were learning skills at the same time. Because for you to get a gig perfect and to get the sleeper gig, you have to can carve the gig, you know, because the gig have to well smooth, you know, you rub it down in sandpaper, you know, it have to well smooth. They used to set
Yeah.
a thing they call them prinches, right? Where you catch the bird in. Boys used to have a lot of fun back then. But now boys are thinking of how they can chop the line and all of those stuff. How
The
they
next
can chop the
level.
line. Right. So the
All right.
scamming
So
thing. No
I'm
one
gonna
wants to learn farming anymore.
I'm gonna cut in on you at that point and just share what Sister Nas is saying here. All right, so I guess she's expounding on what you had asked her to earlier. She said persons are no more locked inside on their gadgets, and oftentimes they are alone. So they know they are no more engaged to the online games, as you rightly said. She's also adding to the discussion, I guess, regarding Usain Bolt and what I said I would do in that case as a parent. I would go to the person and find out why he or she is not answering my child when she calls to her. All right, back in the days, as you realize that Usain Bolt just get a beating, don't it? No question
Right.
asked. So once
Mm-hmm.
Mass Joe or Mass Jane come over, and Mass Joe or Miss Jane would know this, once I come and I report and the child is gonna get a beating, whether well physical beating or some sort of punishment. So no question would be asked. So I guess she's talking about in today's society, that's a step that we can, or an approach that we can take. Find out why the individual is not answering the child. I can also recall, I remember one morning when I was going to Kensal, and my cousin friend, we went into the taxi, and I said good morning, and there was a gentleman that said to me, what's so good about the morning? What was I supposed to respond to that? I didn't respond. I just keep my mouth closed because we said me good morning, and you respond as an adult to a child. What's so good about the morning? That doesn't make sense. So, as I said earlier, we need to respect our children just as much as we want them to respect us. So, we train them up as parents, ensure that when you see Mass John or Miss Jones on the road, ensure that you call to them. You go into a taxi, ensure that you greet the persons there. You walk into a building, ensure that you greet the persons, but you are greeting people and they're not responding to you. So I think it points back at us, Mrs. Anderson, as adults and parents. Back over to you.
All right. So, Miss Boyd, while you were there talking, I
Yes.
remember this meeting with a psychologist once.
Yes.
Um, before I got here, the man did probably just have a bad day, and he just choose to take out his frustration on a child. But the thing about what I do remember though is
Yes.
that I was having this meeting with a psychologist once, meeting with the parents, and she was saying that you go through the different stages of life according to the Erickson theory.
Yes.
Um, right. So that theory, you go through the childhood stage and all of that come right up. But what she was saying, sometimes our childhood can be so rough that we had to jump past a certain stage and get to go to the adult stage because the situation that we are in at the time, we were not allowed to pass through that phase at that point in time. However, once you're alive, it is a must that you go through all the stages. So you might find out that you went to the adult stage from you were 10, and now you get to 20 and 30, you're now going to the childhood stage. That was one of the, yes, that was one of the terminology. That was psychologists said that. So you have to go through all the different stages, right? But sometimes the situation that you find yourself in as a child, you don't get time to go through that stages yet. You have to jump that stage. right? To adapt the adaptability, you have to jump that stage to adapt to being in the situation that the adult should handle. So you as a child
Yeah.
being in there, so you jump that stage. So sometimes you find also some big man act like little pitney. They're just going through that stage now,
Yeah.
naturally. Some big woman act like a little girl. They're just going through that stage that they should have gone through as a child. So sometimes
I believe our presenters experiencing some internet challenge. Sister Mariel, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
And welcome, Mr. Boyd. You are also on. All right, so Sister Mariel, as we're here, I know you're listening on to the discussion. I don't know if you want to just to share your experience as a child growing up when it was the village raising the children and not just the parents alone as it is now in our present society.
My time,
Yes.
uh, as a child, I have two separate experience because the first one, greetings everyone. The first one, um, early child because I wasn't going to basic school as yet. So that was the first one. I was living with my grandfather and his lady. That one, that one was the terrible one. I I used to get beaten for everything as a baby, because I wasn't her child. It was my grandfather.
Yes.
My mom was in Clarendon. So my grandfather told her to go and make life and leave me with him.
Yes.
And that lady, Jesus, I used to have to carry water from the river. Little child, I wasn't going to basic school as yet before I reached
Basic
eight.
or primary?
I say I wasn't going to basic school as yet, my
Oh,
darling.
okay, basic.
And I have to carry water from the river to full up one little something she have. And I go to school, basic school. When I started going to basic school, it was a barefoot,
Yeah.
barefoot, no shoes, barefoot. And I have to eat whatever she provided. I didn't have a choice. And let me tell you, it was not until I live in Newtown I turned Carmel because I know they give dog turn Carmel. And that lady, when she turned the Carmel, she put it in my plate like a dog food. And I
Yes.
would not eat it. And she beat the daylight out of me. And my grandfather said to her, "Why are you beating the child?" She said, "I don't want to eat the food." He said, "Which food?" And I said to grandfather, "The food favor dog food." And he look at it and he said, "Never you touch that child again. That is dog food." Turn come in looking like that is dog food. And
Yes.
I never eat turn Carmel again until I was living in Newtown and I saw my mom do it and put it to cool and slice it up and so on.
Right.
Never, never. When my mom come for me, duh, that was the happiest day of my life. And I was living in Cornpeace because I go to Ace Primary School, old Ace School.
Yes.
But my mother, Lord, village raising a child, you could not beat me. As a
Yes.
villager, you couldn't lick me. She fight you. You make all the complaint you want, and she not ask me no question. If you just not like me and you go and say, "Miss Just Cherry so and so," When me come in,
Happy.
no question asked. And I three person must come in from school, from old age school to where I live. And I must be in the third one. One, two, three. If I'm me, I fourth one, me I get beaten. We didn't have any water to carry, no, because pipe the out of the gate. But there was a big cassia tree in the yard. And I have to sweep the yard with the coconut, with the broom weed 2 times a day before me go school and when me come back from school. After go to school, come back for lunch, 12 o'clock, go back at school. Because you know get lunch money or then something there. But the thing about it is she you were taught from early to do domestic chores.
Yes.
She iron with the wood fire. The iron put right there, and when you iron any white pants, anything, any khaki, anything, you have to rub that iron in the dirt. Rub it on coconut and banana leaf, then you rub it in the dirt, then you rub it with a cloth. And you iron. She taught me from early to iron. But the only part in it me no like, the beating man. Lord Jesus. The first time I fried dumpling, Mrs. Boyd, Lord God, the pot sailed behind me with the attile. I used to run, I was a runner. Because I did not know that the it's not when the dumpling brown, it cook. It's not when it pretty brown, not burn, brown, golden. It's not that time it bake. It cook. You have to draw the fire and so that the dumpling will
So,
soak.
yes.
Coal stove, a little girl, coal stove. And when she come out of the house and break one of the dumpling inside, it raw because she wasn't inside and me was outside cooking. And she doing that, me stay far off, and she no said to me, say, Cherry, this is not how it must be done. You have to do it that way. But may I tell you, if it was no, a lot of us parents would have gone to prison, for child abuse. Because may I tell you, but the good thing about it is I was taught from early how to do things. I could not pass you on the road, Mrs. Boyd. If you and my mother wasn't in agreement and not that, me can pass you on the road and I say
Yes.
good morning or good evening. That's not my place. That's big
Right.
people think must be seen and not to be heard. And there's something they will grow under. I tell you something. When my grandfather died, I was so manageable in night and day. I pass him, stand up, and I say good night, good night, good night, and then me suck my teeth and say you answer, you answer. And he went and dreamed my grandmother and said, tell Cherry, don't tell people how they are night because it's not everybody a real life people.
Lord Jesus.
Hmm. And she could wake up the morning and say, Cherry, we tell good night last night. Me say, me did in the lane and me saw a man stand up and me tell him good night and he no answer me. And she laughed and said, that was your grandfather.
Yes.
So I saw with it, I saw them teaching. You have to tell, you have to talk, you have to be manageable. You can't make them go home. You can't make the company reach home and you out a road because when you go in, then I ask you no question. You must have manners. You must be manageable because manners carry you through the world.
Yes.
God, God. Also, but when you hear a killing or a cutting at my school, we used to call those person big boy. Always big boy. Every parish have big boy. It wasn't that prevalent. It was like You hear one this year and one next long, long time before you hear one next one again. Because teacher, you couldn't go to school go cause teacher.
Yeah.
Police and the people that were respected. You see them stand up out the road, you say good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir. They were respected because I saw your parents taught you say you must have manners. The smallest a child can wash. The smallest a child can cook. If me can cook now, I might carelessness. You
Yes.
if a 10 children in the home, you tidy the house this morning. You make breakfast this morning. You sweep the yard this morning. The chores are dishing dish out, and
Yeah.
everybody have their chore.
Yes.
And you can't lay down in a bed 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock and you in a bed. Uh-uh. You have to wake up early. Start your chores.
Yes.
Cause you have to. Me never drive go school cause I just out of high school. So me go. I me did live. I don't know if anyone of you know competes up to one barber shop there. After you pass the hardware, then you go one right up there so me grow. So
Okay.
me right. But I was the type of child that if you're gonna tell me something, Mrs. Boyd, you have to tell me why I'm not supposed to do it. Don't
Yes.
just tell me say, don't go to road. You have to tell me why. Why I still have that attitude. If you're gonna tell me a story, not just tell me say, boy, I'm going to church and church nice, you know. You're gonna have to who preach, who this, who that, and so me stay. Me want to get the full understanding. So when my mom tell me something, me ask her, me say, then why me not to go this? So why me not to talk to that person there?
Sounds like
And
my daughter.
they don't explain. They don't like to explain. They just tell us say, don't do it, and you must understand. So in that sense, I was rebellious in the sense that tell me when Miss Davis, Teacher Davis out there, so we have a big tambourine tree in the yard, right out our campus over there. My mom said, don't go over that yard, don't go over there. When you're coming from school, don't go over there. Me go over there one evening, darling. And I fling a stone on the tambourine tree because I wanted the tambourine. And you don't know what, the tambourine, the stone come down and lick one little boy in the head, bust the boy head. And it
Jesus.
was it was like 3 weeks after the mother hear somebody bathing the little boy, and the little boy said, man, you are took me head. And then it reached over to my mother. Oh God, nobody no sorry for me that the morning there. God, I want something they call it bust me cock. That come like a one tire.
Cause the road.
A tire. No, that always in the house. You better just let me tell you.
Boss.
You know how my mom stopped beating me? Our friend said to her, just because they call her that. Suppose the people them that is telling you things about Cherry don't like Cherry. When they tell you things, question her. Ask her, make she explain, let her have a voice. I saw me get a voice. But the thing about I was very manageable to people because me no want them go home go tell my mom so me rude to them because she not gonna ask me any question. So I I would like to see a village raising a child now. Not for beat up nobody pitney. Thank God she never give nobody permission to lick me. But if you see the child not behaving right, talk to the person. No, no, talk to the person. Hi, good morning. Yes, there's some time they don't really have no manners. But you as a parent, suppose that child was your child, wouldn't you find a way to go around the person? Yes.
Yeah.
Me like the village raising without the beating. My child should be your child without the beating
Yes,
because me no love the beating part.
I agree
Me
with
no
that.
love it. Me no love it. There are things that you know the child love. When the child misbehave, you withdraw it. If he love sit down on his phone, you take away the phone. If it, whatever the child love, you put the child under subjection with that and make the child say, when all right, when Lisa was small, I hear her curse one time. And I said to her, nice girls don't curse, you know. You see, like how you're so nice looking, you're not supposed to curse.
Yes,
And she laughed. And one more time me hear, me say, where you get it? And she said, she called the man name and said the man was passing with the cow. And the man said, me say, well, look here now. You know, live with the man there. And if you curse you one more time, you'll slap you on your mouth. Me not gonna slap her on her mouth. But me
yes,
have to tell her something. Me have to put fear in her in that sense, in the sense that if she even hear it, she'll say, no, me not say it again, yeah, because mommy I go this or mommy I go that. But
yes,
some people literally, I saw something at church one day and I said to the mom, if you hit the child one more time, you'll call police on you. Don't have, don't have civic church. Say, hit the child one more time, you'll call police on you. And
yes,
seriously, I would do it because it's a baby. He not even know where you're beating from. So if you, no, that's all mistake. So if you see my child on the road and my child and misbehave, and you as a parent, if you want to call me, you call me. Me not gonna abuse you because that is what you see. And children have the side where me see. They have the side where teachers see. And they have the side where people out the
Mhm.
road see.
that's right.
So, and you're
Me
not
too.
see all of them decided. Me I go see the side where me want to see. 'Cause after them push the gate and come in, a model child that there is no model child around town.
Yes, yes.
So
If I may,
when- yes, when they come in at the house, man, sanctimonious and nice. When they go to school, at them and teacher, and then come and tell you, say, teacher this and teacher that and teacher the other. And when you go to school and you and teacher sit down, a totally different something.
Yes,
And when they dip on the road with them friend, that's another side where you're not going to see unless you're passing a one vehicle and you say, they know all you know that. Mhm. So
I,
a
okay.
village raising a child, uh-uh.
I don't believe in the village raising a child thing.
Hold on to your point, Mr. Boyd. We are going to go back to our presenter.
Oh,
I
A
know
sorry.
you want to make
village,
that
I
really
look here, you
point.
cannot be, brother boy, you cannot, you alone cannot raise your child.
Yes,
Why?
that's
The child
true.
is not in your presence at all time. And
Yes,
you know, employ one bodyguard. So
It is.
somebody have to be there. Even all right, suppose Mrs. Boyd named a teacher one school and your daughter was going to school. Who would be in charge of her?
The teacher.
Who is that teacher? A village person.
Yeah. I mean, yes, yes.
all
It's a
right, so
prophetic.
let us
There
put a
are.
pause. Let us put a pause there because we are gonna go into this section, but I don't want to jump over my presenter this evening, so I'm going to hand over to her, and she will give us the guidance as to when we will discuss when what as it relates to the coming back with the village raising the child because I want to oppose Mr. Boyd. as to what you just said a while ago. It does, a village should not raise a child. I want to oppose that. But so I want to
Me
just
oppose it
wait.
too.
Yes, man.
Me
Wait and
oppose
hand
it.
over to the presenter and let her continue this
Kind
evening.
of make me sleep, you know.
So over to you, Mrs. Anderson.
All right, thank you so much, Mrs. Boyd. Right, I'm so sorry that I dropped off. I am having internet issues, so I'm
Good
presently
time.
on data. All right,
Oh,
so as we were saying, village raising a child. From my experience, from my personal experience, to what Mr. Boyd have just said. I would want someone just catching my child up the road. No parent want that in this day and age still.
no.
Just catch my child and beat my child. No. But I do go back to a village raising a child because I can remember, right? I can remember uh most of the things because persons would have known my elder daughter, because I told them, is a very quiet girl. And most of the stuff that I would have heard, it's a village that would have caused me to know. When she was
Yeah,
driving in the front of a taxi with two persons, when she was driving in the driver's seat, it was the village that told me. When she was smaller, she didn't go to a school in the area. When she attended for a time, then I moved her out closer to where I was working. It was the village that let me know she was eating her lunch money. What could have happened if I didn't know that she was eating her lunch money and then begging ride, and what God knows what could have happened. So I
yeah,
am thankful for the village that have brought that to my attention to know your daughter is eating her lunch money. Your daughter is driving in precarious situation in taxis where, and they told me when I questioned my child, it was really no fault of hers. She said that I think she was in high school at the time. It was really no fault of hers. She said that she was coming from school. She went into the taxi, and when the taxi reached on Juicy Beef there, so the taxi man tell her, say, come on the front. Or somewhere down there, say, come on the front and let some come on film seat and let somebody come in the seat that she was sitting. And she was saying that it was very difficult to get taxi and to go back into the town to go that long standing again. She just work with it because she want to come my yard. So it's the village would have let me know, and 'cause maybe she would have tried it another time. I tell her don't do it because what if they met in an accident? We know what that would have led to.
yeah.
So the village caused me to know a lot of things. A lot of things. So, Mr. Boyd, I wouldn't agree with that, but as what Mrs. Anderson, my namesake, would have mentioned, I love the village grow the child, but not with the beating part. Not with
Yes.
the beating part. I wouldn't want somebody catching my child out there. But the funny thing about it, there's this particular sister at church. If she and my daughter have an altercation, because they have altercation all the time, I have never questioned her what it is about. Never. I never
Yeah.
seen a reason to. Of the sister Sheffield. No matter what she and Pinky have, no matter how much job Pinky. There are just some persons that she's just one of the examples. There are just some persons that I know would be around my daughter and they know they would rough her up and scold her up more time. And I know that when it is done with love and all of that. I never question if she don't come and say, oh, Miss Anderson, this is happening with Pinky. I don't ask no question. No question at all. That is just the truth. No question. So I am comfortable with her, right? I am comfortable. Most of the time, she does what I am supposed to do as a parent, right? And I have no issues with it. They're just there, and and my daughter will be beside me, and she just come and take her up, and she go with her gang and whatever them have it all. Me not have no problem. I'm just comfortable with her. So I want to give Mr. Boyd the opportunity to share why he said what he said, and I want to hear Mrs. Boyd oppose him.
Go ahead, Mr. Boyd.
Okay, good night, viewers. Good night. Oh, I apologize. Let me say good night to the lovely host, Mrs. Boyd. That's my beautiful wife, for those who don't know.
Oh Lord.
And
Hmm.
our great
Think the
presenter,
world know by this.
our great, our great presenter, and the lady that is always in the background. She is always a presenter, even when she's not a presenter. She's always a presenter.
Right.
That is sister um, Myrel Anderson, right? All right. So for me, I I I multiple times. I guess it's out of my experiences why I say that. Multiple times, um, wrong news was carried back to my home about me.
Yeah.
Um, news of I got news of me out in the town loading bus. I got my parents got news of me loading bus, Me just I'm not throwing down any job, but not just you know. So loading, I was out there loading bus, and then another one said that I was in bar playing poker box, and another one said me come at them yard and take up them money off of them dresser, and I mean, I wasn't the stay in the yard type of young man. All of those things that Sister Anderson, that's Bailey Anderson, spoke about earlier. Those things I can do them. I can make a gig. I can make a bat. I used to do gun war. I used to climb trees. I used to climb the tallest trees. I think it's one tree I didn't learn to to climb was the coconut tree. I didn't try that one. Maybe because I'm a weight. But I used to do all of those things. I used to get the freedom to go places, and my mom gave us the opportunity to explore. Now, my daughter is someone who, when she's told to do something, as Sister Mariel would say, you have to explain to her exactly why you say that. And you can't go around it till you explain it. And we in this home we cultivate that type of interaction, where whatever she's told, you know not
It's okay to ask question.
yes, it's okay to ask question. And even if when she gets her answer, she knows exactly why she is she has to do whatever we have explained or told to her. So I've seen the negative. I'm a recipient then of the negative impact of the community raising a child. Yeah, me get whole heap of beating because of it. I'm not going to even explain. I'm not even gonna say the instruments that touch this brown skin. You know, I leave that one out in case persons want to press charges against my lovely mother. I don't want none of that. Hence, that's why I will hold that to my. I will share that in private with my wife. You know, but I won't share that here online. Um, so I was some person say it affected me positively because look look how you turn out, but it left a mark now that I don't even want somebody talk too hard to my daughter. You understand? I mean, yes, you can talk to her and whatever, but do it in a way that you guys are having a conversation. You understand? Tell her that it's wrong. Why is it wrong? She will ask. Why is this wrong? Because this will happen to you, this will happen to you. And she will take the suggestion, especially if you're a adult. You know, I know she have some of the sturdiness of her mom. And you know, and she might give you a little eye, but with respect, with respect. She knows what to do. So and I'm saying there are positives to it, but I'm one of those persons who have got the negative impact of it. Being having your character marred, having getting punishment because of something that you did not do. You know, maybe the person could have gone further. To to say to Sister Anderson, that might be the driver or man, and try to push a thing on her. You understand me? I say some things, some things some things that come across from people. It most times are yeah, most of the time it cause a reaction from the parent, and some most times sometimes the reaction from the parent are in a negative sense because you're beating the child for a mistake. You're beating the child for making a decision that she had to make at that point, because of her situation. So I would say I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it. There are pros and cons to everything, but there's a lot of negative that can flow from it. You know?
All right, I hear your point, and I don't hear. I am still not hearing you say, as you said it before. I don't agree with a village raising my child. I am not getting that from you. What I am getting is that you have a little drawback based on your
And
A
what
big
happened to
drawback,
you?
a big drawback,
because
big
yes,
drawback.
so how I have seen it, because I have seen where persons at church, at home, and elsewhere, you allow them to correct Alina. And if you allow that, that simply means that it is the involvement of a village, because it's not just you as a parent saying yes or no. So my thing as it relates to the village being
But
involved in the growth.
but that's another controlled environment, which I'm familiar with. Those persons
Yes, yes.
at our
But
church,
what I am
and,
Yeah,
saying,
and
but
whether or
that's
not,
still village.
still a part of the village.
Still
yeah,
a
but
part.
the
Yeah.
persons
As
who
a
usually the
parent, all
person
right,
They
allow
usually
me
don't
to
live. They
talk.
don't live in your. They don't live in your house.
We cannot speak
the person
together.
that usually did the commenting, these persons don't come at my yard, they don't live there, right? These
Yes,
persons were in the community, and maybe they live on maybe 3 streets down. They not even live in the street that I live in. But those persons had the opportunity to say whatever they want, and
yes.
it was basically law.
All
I,
right.
I,
It's-
I and I
it's-
don't I
All
don't
right.
see
Thank
why
you. Allow me
somebody
to make my point. Thank you. All right. So what I am saying no. What I am saying, you're saying, all right, a person. But it goes back to the parent, the type of parent that you are. So your mother, Sister Mara's mother, was the type of parent, all right, back in the days. Once a report came in about my child, I am not going to get the opinion of my child. I get allow my child to explain. That's not how it is in this day and age.
exactly.
That's not how we are talking about going back, reigniting the village. So it goes back to you as the parent. Give your child or your children a voice.
it's true. True.
Because as Sister Mariel would have said it earlier, sometimes people just don't like you. They just don't like you and they will come and give a bad report. Somebody's not going to come here and call me or by whichever medium they're going to use to say that Alina did X, Y, or Z, and I'm just going to pull out a strap. First of all, I don't beat Alina like that. I don't beat my child like that. right? So I'm not gonna just say, come here, say, Sister Mary,
Ah,
me say,
ah.
you do this, or you stand up a corner. No, you're gonna call your child, you're gonna sit your child down, you're gonna ask your child, what happened? Why were you at this location? Why were you doing this? Why did you say that? So
Mhm.
as I said, it goes back to the parenting. We're not
Yeah.
expecting society to be as it was some years ago. In terms of
Ah,
some things, yes.
ah,
But the village raising the child, I think it is very much important. Sister Mariel said it earlier. Children them have split personalities. When they're at home, oh Lord. Yes, mommy.
mhm.
Yes, daddy. In front of
Yes.
teacher, yes, teacher. Okay, teacher. I will do this. I will. But when they are in the among their peers, they
Mm.
transformed.
You
Huh?
don't even answer your
Different
child.
personality.
I
Different
can
personality now would come out.
I
That
can say
the parents don't know nothing about it.
I
Teacher don't
can
know nothing about it.
I can say my daughter understand hierarchies because
Right?
Can I, can I say
And
something, Mrs. Paul?
also, yeah, I'm coming to you, Sister Mariel. And
continue.
also, we have to set the thing at home, set the standard at home.
Yes. Yes.
Let the children know what is expected of
Yes.
them, what is acceptable and what is not. And it has to start from a tender age. Boys, that is
Mm-hmm.
something that you would have observed with me and Alina.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
She knows exactly what is acceptable and what is
Yes.
not. So
Exactly.
when she does something wrong, Sister Mariel, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't even look at you, see, you just see a change.
Mm-hmm.
And she will walk, Mommy, I am sorry. I didn't mean to do that. See, you
Yes.
allow,
Yes.
just rushing on them and start to discipline them. Allow them to explain themselves.
Yes. You see.
So
You
when
see.
when I
Mrs.
say
Mrs.
I
Boyd.
agree with the village raising my child, yes, man, I want people out there to have an eye out for my child because
Yes.
we alone, boy, we cannot raise our child.
True.
It cannot work because even the other day, I don't remember who I was talking to, and we're doing a skit for tomorrow. We're having period day at our school, and I don't want to make mention much about what is going to take place, but it's a situation in which we get to a point in society now where an adult or adults will see a child doing something wrong and don't
Mm-hmm.
turn a blind eye to it.
Unless
And
at the
that
phone them I use.
and that is because two of the
Of the
parent
parents. That's
type
yeah.
of
That's
Yeah.
parent
clear.
where you go tell
Mm-hmm.
them, say, look here, me don't want nobody come make no complain about me
Mhm.
pitney. Me don't want nobody talk bad about me pitney. You get what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So
Yes.
that
Yep.
not continue. Some a
Yes.
child, a young man could have been prevented from becoming a gunman if Mass Joe did see him at each up around a certain corner and had reported it to the parent.
Hmm.
And then the parent would have intervened. But because Mass John said, no, me I turn a blind eye, me no business with Miss Jane Pickney. Because when you go tell Miss Jane nothing about him Pickney, cuss you out and all sorts of things. So
Uh,
that is why we are where we are
so
today
Yeah.
society.
and I would say, Mrs. Boyd, there's a bigger sensitization that needs to take place, and that is why
Well, yes.
I would say I trust the environments that she is now in the sense that she's at church, she's at school. Those environments are people who are trained and who are sensitized in a certain behavior. Now,
Yes.
when we go wider
Mm-hmm.
than these environments,
Mm-hmm.
there's so much negativity. That's why it comes down to what is portrayed here on TV. All right, let me go back to the example that you spoke of, where You were saying the parent say no wanna wash no mouth pan him pitney.
Yes.
Sometimes, Mrs. Boyd, sometimes what that person or that parent had been through causes the causes those defensive walls to go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, that they try to cover their child, try to even though the child is doing something bad enough, they don't question the child like what we would do. Their first line of defense is protect my child, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and
Bad,
sometimes
bad
it,
parent.
yeah,
Bad parent.
Very bad
yeah,
parenting.
but
Thank you.
yeah, but that's a trickle down from something else. So that's why I'm saying there has to be a wider sensitization of how a village can raise a child. It has to be because it's not there anymore. Remember, people moral codes back then in sister Myrtle times, it has changed. It has
Yes.
completely been obliterated over and over because of
Welcome,
maybe
Sister
the
Shante.
invent the invent of social media, the
Mm.
invent of all of this flood of information. I've
Yes.
turned some persons into let, let me just be plain and say the idiots,
Yes.
you know, because we have all of this information, we don't know how to, we don't even understand how to process it. You understand? So it's going to come down to us now, the church, that is one, community people,
Different
to
communities.
to sensitize people. Like, all right, so if you know, you can say in your community, listen, if you see Alina coming in after 5, let me know. You can there are some trusted persons in your community who you can speak to, and they will be the eyes out for you. But I am not going to say a village that are everybody. To me, there are some trusted confidants who I have in my community who look out for my child. That's what I would say, because these persons I know, firstly, have my child's welfare
Um,
in their
as
hands.
you said that, sometimes, Mr. Boyd, you're gonna know that yes, Ezrian, Sister Meryl, Sister Chantel, Sister Nas,
Sister
yes,
Sheffield.
yes, you. I'm just using some names to bring home a
Mhm.
point,
Yes,
right? You're gonna say, all right, I'm used to these individuals, so I know them, and they will have the best interest of my child. However, there are some people you don't know, and let me tell you, them and look out for your
Look
picking.
after your child better
Them
than
and
anybody
look
else.
out for your picking better than anybody else.
All right.
Because for
Can I say
me,
something?
as a parent, Sister Meryl, yeah, me so
Mm,
allow you to talk. Me as a not even a parent, an individual, me look out for every child, every single child. I'll be just passing. I'll just say a child, how are you? You all right? Me not nothing know you know, me just rub your head. You all right? So you just care. You just care. I know that we're not gonna find everybody like that in society,
that's a one
but
out
we
of
cannot
10.
choose and
That's
we
a one
cannot
out of
pick people
10.
and say yes. Some of them that we would think and believe that they would have the best interest of our child at heart,
mm-mm.
they don't. They don't. And another thing, as you said, some parents, because of their experience, whether it is with their parents or other people within the community, they have up this little safeguard and this little shield as it relates to the child. That is something that we have to, and it's something that we have to break down.
I'm
Yes,
not
yes.
gonna
Don't
listen.
lose your
I
experience
believe that.
because, yeah, that is something that we have to
Yeah,
get
I
rid of.
believe that.
Not because it
But it has
happened to
to it
you,
has to
it doesn't
it
mean
has
that it's
to
going to happen to your child.
yeah,
Make
it
your
has to
point, then
have
I hand
some.
over to Sister Meryl. Yes, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was just going to was gonna agree with you on that. But
Yes.
it has to it has to have some sort of intervention. it is hard for us to just, to slide back into that type of um, way of life. Uh, we would really need to have a strategic has to be strategic intervention for that to happen. Um, as you said, there are persons out there that really do look out for our children, some that we may
Not
not know.
even know.
Um,
Yes.
and I accept that. I accept
We
that.
still have good
I think
Samaritan,
it
good
just,
people out there.
I think for me, it's just some of the there's a lot of negatives that come with it. And as I say, there's good. Um,
Where
so
there
that's
is good,
why,
there is bad.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yes,
man.
Sister Meryl, over to you.
Alright,
No, but we'll
let's
still
go.
answer your
I
question, babe. Just hold on. Go ahead.
let I start with the bad first. Have you
Yes.
ever gotten beaten and you don't know what it is for?
No, not me. Boyd,
Uh,
your
Yes,
I
experience.
have. I
yes, man.
have because
Yes,
of what somebody told my mom. But look here, me come up now. I'm not like that. All right. When Lisa passed to go to Garvey, and I used to send her on Mr. Ark bus. A villager make me know say Lisa no land drive for Mr. Ark bus. Yes, she go in the morning, but she go around Maypen and come home. And I didn't beat her. I just asked her about it. And you see, you have hacks and you have hacks.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I let her know anytime you start pay the money for go school, you can go around me paying morning and evening. But you see, as long as I'm me pay it and I give Aki money, me nah give you one extra money more than your lunch. I just say you go. Money and nobody make me have to hear again. Say you go Mapen. Anytime you want go Mapen, you leave my house and go Mapen. But you know, left from school, go Mapen and then you come down. All right. When I was working at the pharmacy, I did not know Sister Coleman's son. Because Sister Coleman just started come to church. And the little boy come at the pharmacy in and whatever income for buy him money couldn't buy it. Me no know him. So I know say somebody when me know.
Yes.
I me see him stand up in I me say what me approach him in, and he explain to me. Me say, all right man, go and tell the pharmacist say to give it to you. Me we deal with it. And me go in my bag and me give him the money. And me ma come check me the one I cashier. And when the little boy come at church with the mom, and I don't know what I was doing. Me no know what me did I do. And the little boy say, Mommy, see the lady they will help me down a pharmacy. Remember
Yes.
say, me no know him. I am a villager. Not
Yes.
in my village. In our next village.
Yes.
Carlisle town. Him no live in a family village, he live in our next village. And when he come at church, he say, Mommy, see the lady there. How who the lady there? And she say, her brother Bunny wife. He say, she help me down at the pharmacy. What you have to say about that? I saw you raise a child, only voop, 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 voop. We are here to train the child. We are here to cushion them and we are here to help them. Help them in the sense that you see them out there and they're doing something wrong. If I did something wrong, him I do I see someone would approach him. Me no know him. Me no know him,
yeah.
So we are not only here to bash them. I am in support of a village raising a child in that sense, not to
Exactly.
be the and if they even come and say Sister Cherry or whatever, me see Lisa out the road and whatever. When Lisa come in, me now go beat him. I say, wait it out the road. I do. No, 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 no. I say, Lisa, say me you say you stand up out the road one length of time and you take long for coming. You hello. If Brother Jason, if you and the child as small as Elena have conversation and you
Yes,
leave yourself open, you
yes,
leave yourself
yes.
open. You have
Hello.
to leave yourself open, you know. You
Come on,
can't be the mother. You can't be the mother. Yes, you are the mother
yes.
and you are the
She's
father.
she's
But
going
you
to open the
can
door. Trust me.
okay.
She's going to
Help
ask. She's gonna come to you and she's gonna say, "Listen,
you have to
I
leave door half open, Sister Boyd. You have to
yes,
leave the door half open so that she can
definitely,
and come in and say, Mommy, you know, send me go school today. So and so happen and what have you
yes,
and what have you and
yes,
Yeah.
this and the boy they do something, our teacher do something
yes,
or whatever. And then you will ask and you say, what did you do? Was it wrong or find out how she feel about it and so on.
yes,
You know, I saw you have to leave the door. Me tell this, I say, hello. You see, Christianity, I said to her, some parents may think say me I idiot. I said to her, me know you talk to somebody, but me no read, brother just me no like the roadside thing, especially in your school uniform. I don't like it.
we
I
used
say
to
I
go
live
well.
in a oh, me live in our house. Me live in our house. And if I didn't even under tree me live, carry the person come
You
under the
like
tree.
roadside patrol.
Me no love it. Me say carry the person come under the tree and make me see say
Yes,
you and the person sitting under the tree. And
yes,
me personally we talk because I was young also.
Yes.
yes, yes.
Me no love the roadside something. If you come and tell me say Lisa turn up out of school in a uniform and it get me ignorant, but me now go beat her.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Beating no solve nothing, you know. You only teach a person to be abusive. Because
Yes.
they grew up in our situation where they see everything they do, you beat them and you talk loud and the neighbor can tell you when you and she have something or you and your spouse have something or whatever. But have a meaningful conversation. Me used to seize anything where Lisa love. I seize me seize it. She love
Yes,
watch television, no television.
yes.
Anything she love, me take it away. Maybe go out of the way when she get homework and she say, Mommy, I know so teacher say. Me can't go over that because me don't know it. Me always have one teacher friend. Anytime she tell me that, me call the friend and say, do you teach so and so? And I say, Mr. All right, can you explain this to me? One time me did it, and when the teacher start explain, me say, look here, mom. You see when you reach at the bottom, me figure to you say I top. So this little girl right in my house want the office solving. So see, I'm only hear Lisa at the pan. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And when she done and she said good night, at that time Lisa start to write and when she come in the next evening, I say, oh was it? She said, Mommy, me get it right. Because
Yes.
I don't you can't know everything.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We're
You
gonna
have to
need help.
learn.
We're gonna need help.
Yes, and them all come in with something where you have to help them with and you can't do it, but you do. Me can't do it. No, you have to find a way. Me never glad when school open. Me always maybe because I want always in my house. It's not no problem to me. If school opening gone and if school no open, school up on holiday,
Still
the only thing Lisa never go spend holiday with nobody.
Uh,
Never.
my Ghana
She
country.
Lisa never go nowhere go spend holiday. Picnic come here, but Lisa not go nowhere. One time she got face two. And when she got face two, she called me in the midnight night and said, Mama, me can stay over Sister Pavel. And me say yes. One time. She
yes.
never go nowhere. I don't think I was being overprotective, but me love watch news. And sometimes you're at the wrong place
At
The
the
at the
wrong
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 time.
time.
time. I just
Yeah.
that. Just that. So to me, a village raise a child in that sense, I would welcome it because my eyes can go further than where it can go. And sometimes the other side of the child come in and hello. Did you know that one evening me coming in from work and I don't know what happened on the phone. I don't know who was she on the phone. Me no know. But me see Lisa features change. Her features change and she look like she'd have grabbed you up. And me ear up on the phone. And when me come in, me could have just stand up so and put me answer. And my
I've
mouth
never
lip drop down.
heard or
Me,
seen that side of her.
and my mouth lip drop down. So, and when she hung up the phone, me say, Lisa, what happened? Nothing, mama. Me say, eh. And she go in her room and she slammed the door. And me wait until she come out of the room and me take out the key. Me say, anytime you start hearing female, so you can't lock me out. And that key never go back in at the door until Lisa go foreign and come back. Me say any day you start paying me rent fee in there, so you can't lock me out. But as long as you're not paying no rent and nobody not paying no rent, so you can't lock me out of my own place.
Parenting, man. Parenting. It all boils down to parenting.
Parenting,
Yeah,
parent,
parenting.
you're not gonna know anything because there isn't a manual. But
Yes.
you must adapt. Everywhere me go and work, me adapt certain things. And me
Yes.
adapt a good
Learn
one.
as
And
you
me,
go along.
yes, you
But
learn on the job.
Sister Mariel, there are some good things that parents have done, and those are
Mhm,
good examples to follow from.
mhm.
You
Yes.
Yeah,
know,
man.
um,
Yeah.
I can say my wife does great with my daughter. I mean, you
Praise Jesus.
understand? Um, thank God. Yeah. She does great because she has more hands-on time with her. Um, even at school when she was at school, and even now she is here earlier than I am. So she has more hands-on
All
with
right.
her. So it
Brother Jason. Brother Jason.
yes, ma'am.
Did you know Alena and Israel, I think they are a couple weeks apart, don't it? Or maybe a month apart. Did you
Yes,
know that it had just start work?
I
She
did.
she
She said
Oh, she
homeschool him and
parenting.
homeschooling.
she
Okay.
she homeschool him everything. When me hear that little boy a go on with something, and she said, "Mommy, me no want him go school. I don't know who him is because
Yeah.
me, over here pitney them. I tell you say them free to change
Exactly.
and this."
Exactly.
In a
Exactly.
July, the little boy start go school, and in a July, Lisa start work. She no
I,
work for her baby.
and I would support that because based on the system that they have there and what they are trying to push.
Push on the kid.
Mrs. Boyd know this because she's a teacher. She's aware of some of the things that some of these schools, even our schools are trying to add to curriculums here. You understand? So I think homeschool is a good thing. Less distractions most times, and also the child gets to get that one-on-one, and she's learning especially from the person who she has the most respect for. So that's really good. um I think one time Ancelena spoke about that, and she did some of that too, because my daughter really started opening a book very early. Because I
Mhm.
could say from in the womb. I have to
Yeah.
still applaud her for that. Um, um, all in all, we have tried our very best to be
We have
good
to
parents.
just don't be like our foreparents.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
And one.
church,
Don't
the
know
church,
their mistakes.
yeah, learn from their mistake. They
Yeah,
did know a lot
Yes.
of
And
stuff.
don't let it
And the
cloud our
only the
judgment.
only thing come to for them mind at all time is to beat the child. That's
mhm,
all. They no think say spare the rod and spoil the child. They
yeah,
just feel every time then you have hello. My me did book my tour, my big tour one time, darling. And my mother tie me foot pan the shoes, you know. Me can't say me not go to church, you know. My mother not going to, you know. But me have to go. She tie me foot, tie on me foot with this start and the shoes
Yes, yes.
and send me to Sunday school. She not going, but me have to go.
Uh,
So
but
those
that is
days
good.
was
But that is good though. So, but even though she is not going, she knows the
yeah,
importance
she not go unless I something
of
special
you
much.
going, and
She
she
not go.
ensures
Mm-hmm.
that you are
So
there.
me go.
All
Yeah,
right,
man.
our presenter, are you with us? Are you with us? Our presenter, she is on, but her mic is muted.
Yes, I am still on. Just having some internet issues. I'm going in and out.
I realize.
Listen to Sister Mariel and her days. Very interesting. Uh, one of the things that I failed to mention to Mrs. Boyd,
Yes,
what is causing the changes. And I don't blame Lisa for not sending the child to school too early too, because the
yes,
school is another thing you want the child to be able to identify. It's not so prevalent in Jamaica as it is overseas though, but you want
yes,
the child to be able to identify who they are before going to school.
yes,
But separated apart from the school, the type of movies that our children are watching now. First time we just used to Lime Tree Lane and maybe I don't know which
Black
other
and
one,
white
TV
TV.
sign off. Black and white TV we sign off 12 o'clock. The only
2 o'clock.
time you see colored on the TV are when it sign off, you see the whole line. And no, if you even notice, uh, our young children not even embracing the Jamaican Creole anymore. They're watching Peppa Pig and they sound like American and English now. From they are young.
Yes,
Yes. So the type of movies that we are watching, and it goes back to the internet too. They are seeing a lot of stuff on the internet. Sometimes they're unsupervised, and sometimes the parents are not so educated and they don't know how to put the parental thingy on the phone, the parental guide. So the child would stray to watch all kind of stuff.
and
So and it is
just
corrupting
to
their mind.
interject at that point with you, this whole Peppa Pig thing that you mentioned, it's something that I tell Alina, no, I don't know, but I don't think Peppa Pig is really for kids. I know they made it for them, it is really for them, but
Nope.
as a parent and watching it in depth, I realize that it's not for kids. So that is something that I will block from Alina tablet. However, when she goes around the hall, her cousins will be watching it. And because I say to Alina,
Mm.
Alina, you're not supposed to watch Peppa Pig, she's gonna let them know that mommy say I'm not supposed to watch it. So even
Mm-hmm.
without even having the parental
That
code
is
or
good.
we need to ensure that we say to our kids, there are certain things that you're not supposed to watch, you're not
Mm-hmm.
supposed to listen, you're not supposed to be a part of. We have to teach them to have a mind of their own. So when we tell them this and they see others doing it, they must be able to walk away from it. Or said my mother said, or my daddy said, I am not supposed to be listening
Yes.
or watching this.
Yeah,
So
man.
these are some of the things that we have to ensure that we do as parents, and we
Yes.
are falling short in this area.
So
Do you
Pepper
think it
Pig,
do you
Pepper
think
Pig,
it work
Pepper
with
Pig
That
is
is
one of
true.
them that
uh,
Pepper Pig is one of those that teaches children about same sex, transgender,
You have so many of them.
thing, and I'm gonna tell her that it's serious.
SpongeBob.
And
SpongeBob is one of
Yes.
them
SpongeBob
too.
does the same thing also. So I mean, it's all pre-programmed, you know. In every what you call this now series that comes on Netflix or Disney or Paramount or any one of these streamers, any one of them, I can say right now, there is going to be as well we say
Same sex.
a gay relationship in it,
Mm-hmm. Right.
or some relationship that is not the norm, you know. So I mean, it's gonna come down to, as we have always all been saying tonight, parenting. Parenting, it is a job in itself. Parenting, I see it every day. Based on what Ancelina has to go through at school, based on what Ezrian has to go on with at work, what um, Sister Anderson, Myrel has to go through, what I have to deal with on a daily basis.
That I don't have a
Yeah,
child at home.
no, but on the streets and stuff like that.
Yes.
Yes.
Today I was a video was shared with me today with a little boy at a school in Spanish Town, and this little boy was hurling rocks at his classmates, or a person in the class, and the teacher was there trying to tell him not to do it, and the little boy walk around the teacher and back off the teacher and flings some big pieces of chunks of rocks, into the classroom, um yes, he wasn't hurting the teacher. The teacher had to use herself as a what you call now, as
Shield.
a shield for him not to throw the stone directly into the classroom, because he didn't hit the teacher, but he walked around, and I'm telling you, this is a primary school child, not at high school yet, and with that type of anger issues, whatever that caused him to be that angry and not able to
Control.
listen to nobody.
Control.
Nobody. It doesn't matter
Bad.
who was around him. He
Bad.
was not listening, none at all. So I mean, these things are in society, and they are trickle down. They are trickle down. They are trickle down from parents, and even what the community says person should be like. You understand? So
Uh,
it
All
comes to
right.
parenting.
One
And
last question. Do
yes, go
you
ahead.
think it have anything to do with children having children?
All right, that one is for my presenter, my well-able presenter, who is gonna take us home this evening. So you're gonna answer that question, and you're gonna take us home this evening. You're gonna wrap up. You're gonna summarize, and you're also going to share how it is that we can reignite the village. What is the way forward in terms of reigniting the village? Over to you, my presenter.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Boy. So to answer Miss Myrtle Anderson's question, I don't believe it has anything to do with children having children. Reason being, what I have realized is that children were having children a long time ago, and it's not just now, but the only thing that I have noted, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Sister Myrtle, being that you were born before me and stuff like that. I realized that the children born now, say for instance, a 15-year-old, the size of a 15-year-old now would be very much smaller to a child of 15-year-olds 20 years ago. They were much more bigger in body and their body mature faster in a sense, but they have bigger body. When I was going to year school, the girls that were in grade 9 were as big as my mother. Now you have some girls in grade 9, they are like small sticks. You understand? But separate and apart from that, where the body build is concerned, children were persons were becoming mothers at the age and fathers at the age of 15, 16, 12, long time ago. And I believe it used to happen more prevalent in those times too, because they didn't have birth control as much as though we are having it now, right? So I believe children were having children long time ago, because based upon my research that I have done in the immediate community that I'm living in, I have realized that most of the persons have become parents in their teenage years, so it's nothing new. What I do believe though is a shift in the social cultural relationship that we now have, right? We are shifting away from a village growing a child where no wash your mouth for me pitney, leave me pitney alone, I will grow my child, and and stuff like that. And we are moving away from the generation, it's the generation gap two, the generation X, the generation Y, which I've discussed in church, to the generation Z now. Uh, there is different time, we're in a different time era, but it does not necessarily has to do with children having children. Children were having children from the ages of old, from Mary days, from Jesus days, long before that. Children were having children, right? So I don't believe that's the cause. Mr. Boyd, Miss Boyd, they want to share your points on that, your 2 cents on that.
I agree with you. Don't really have anything to do with children having children. I agree with you.
I agree.
Because
I
they
agree.
even
I
have
agree too.
children, it happens same time in the long age.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't.
Repeat that for me, Mrs. Anderson.
If they even have children young, it's still in the old age. Like my age,
Okay.
children having children
Mm-hmm.
at they still grow up like how same parents would treat them that same way because they are in that age. So if all right, when my mom have me in
Okay.
55, if a 15-year-old girl have a child that time, the same culture, they would be in the same culture. They would treat them same way because in those days I saw
Right.
every even the church coming along, I see so
Yeah.
the church stay.
Right. That's what I was saying. It was a shift in the social culture relationship. So it not necessarily have to do with children having
Sure.
children.
Okay.
Uh, but going forward, how can we reignite the village? We don't we are not going to have it as how we have it back then. But there are a few pointers that we could have picked out that would have helped to reignite the village, teach your children to have respect, to have manners, have respect to the elderly, right? Teach your children responsibility. And I want to touch on this sore point where some persons don't want to give their little daughters doll, they don't want their daughters to play with doll, but it teaches them some sense of, not that they're going to get grow up to and thinking in their mind that they're going to have baby or children, but it teach them a sense of responsibility. If you don't want to give your daughter a doll, then give her a cat, give her a pet, give her something that she's responsible for. You understand? So you teach them that sense of responsibility from they are young. So you teach them how to be responsible. Don't just let them sit on the tablet all day and watch TV all day. You give them their chores. We are not teaching them to be responsible as we used to back in the days. So we teach them, we try to keep the same morals and values and responsibility. That's the necessary training that they would need. We're not going to go back to where parent anybody can catch a child and beat your child, but you teach your child to have respect. And if somebody come to you and say something about your child, don't just shut it out and oh you don't want to hear anything. Do your proper investigation, right?
Right.
Because you want to know, get to the truth. So you do your proper investigation then, right? You don't just, it's not going to go back to where you just beat a child, but at least investigate to find out what is happening, what went wrong, or why was this complaint made. So instead of just shutting it out, so these are some of the stuff that we can do to reignite the village. Get fathers to be more involved in their children's lives. They have this saying, "Oh, I am mother and father for the child." The thing is,
Mm-mm.
a mother do her best, but a mother cannot do what a father is supposed to do. A man's job is a man's job. And a woman might try, yes, to improvise and implement, but a father role is just a father role. As I
Yeah.
always say, believe me, I am the disciplinarian in my home, right? I am the one that is always doing the discipline. But trust me, Mr. Boy, there comes a time when I have to say, Mr. Henderson, you need to go talk to your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Because there comes a time when it just need a man voice.
Yeah, yeah.
But even though my husband is saying, "Oh, I must deal with a lot of stuff," him kind of soft with him daughter them and me are the one who strict on them, and if they move that me say you don't move this. So the father kind of more baby them up. But let me tell you something, yes, when him ready to talk, no dog back. So a man's job is a man's job. Me might do it every time, and I do things that I'm effective in my own right and my own way. But there comes a time when me have to call for daddy man. Me have to say daddy you have to come here so come help me a little bit. I
Yeah.
remember so when daddy come I want talk, daddy talk for me for long.
I believe that. Yeah, man, I feel you right, Steve.
Oh, God. That happened to me two or three times.
One
Not,
time Leroy
not,
talk, in
not
a
a
class.
lot. Not a lot. Because my daughter listen to her mom. Um, you know, um, if
She don't
there's
wanna
any, if there's
fight.
any, if there's too much, then I will hear my name ring out. Jason, talk to, you know, and then her face will change because you know that he gonna come and talk. The one who the one who should be the soft one come with a rough face, you know. But you made a point. You made a point about um um just giving persons the knowledge, or persons having the knowledge of how to deal with some of these things. I think, and I'm repeating it again, some sensitization needs to happen, and the
Right.
sensitization needs to come directly from one, the moral, the institution that holds the moral standard in any community most times is the church, right? And the church can bring in whatever governmental organization into, because I mean community town meetings back in the day was the way how things used to be shared across in the community. And sometimes we need to have these things where invite the community. You invite the community to church or invite them to a meeting, put it outside where everybody will hear the sound box. Somebody from CDA, somebody, these type of things. CPSFA, sorry. Um and and speak about these things, because once that information goes across, people will be educated, people will understand what how they should really operate. You understand? And I think you'll have a change, quote unquote, village because of that, a more effective village.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The village will be
Right.
aware.
And there are so many things being implemented in the school now where parents are getting the sensitization in the school, based
Yes.
upon my experience. And I've gone to so many meetings and at the school. So the platform is there. It's just for parents to utilize. Because I'm seeing where for my daughter's school, a big school like that, I've gone to meetings where I've on sensitization and I want to see like 10 parents turn up. 10, 11, 12. So
Yeah.
parents need to start grabbing these opportunities and taking the opportunities because it helps us to become better parents. We weren't born in any manual, right? And the thing about it, what might, if you have more than one children, more than one child, what might work for one child does not necessarily work for the other one. And I would have learned that from experience, being that I have two children now. What would have worked for
Right.
Alicia does not work for Angelicia. They are two different individuals, and I have to find two different ways to deal with them. And sometimes it causes a conflict where Alicia say, "Oh, I don't deal with her that way," but I have to sit and explain all of that and stuff like that. So the sensitization, the PTA, work with the teacher, work with the community, it is good, but I believe the opportunities, I believe more can be done, but I think that the little that we have now, we are not utilizing them. We are not making use of them. So I think the parents need to grasp. We don't find it as important as we should find it important. You dress up your little
Yes.
daughter, and I always see Mrs. White post it on her status. And whilst I know that she's a teacher by profession, I don't think that's the only reason why she would have done it. But I've seen where she have posted where a sports day, she and her daughter. Any other day, she and her daughter. And I think that she would have done the same even if she weren't a teacher by profession. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So these are the things that you want to model to ensure it right, to ensure that your child. Jamaica there, them for my daughter's school, me dress up as Chinese or Indian or anything what them tell me for dress as. Me gonna help serve, me gonna help sell something, get involved in the children's lives and let them see
Very
the
important.
importance of being self-sufficient and all of that. So these are the things that will help them and to help to reignite the village. We have to lead from the front. Leaders lead from the front. As parents, we need to lead from the front. Apart from the sensitization, which is very good, and that's the way forward because we have to take all the help we can get.
Oh yeah.
But get involved. We as parents, we need to get involved. It's
Yes.
not all about having the child and say, oh, Pitney must mind and Pitney must take care of. Get
Mhm.
involved. Yes, that's my take on it.
All right. Thank you very much, my
Everybody
presenter.
drop asleep now.
No. And also my panelists. I am just hoping those on YouTube land would have been educated this evening, also informed and inspired as it relates to our topic, the parenting theme for this month. Reignite the village. I believe that it is necessary. It is important. You cannot do it alone as a parent. There must be somebody or others in your corner looking out for your child. It is important for you as a parent to be involved in your child or your children's life. It is important. Show up at school, do the best. I know some of us we are hardworking parents and we have to make the money to ensure that them go to school and all of that. But it's important for you to take some time out. And when you are so much involved in your child's life, it also helps them to excel.
Yes.
I
True.
believe so. Yes, it
Yes.
helps them to
Oh God.
excel in school.
Just
Especially no, I am not. I am not at Alina's school anymore. And I remember they were having this I think it was what gone the other day, Heritage Day. And I took some time just to swing by the school and just to support her. And you could see our face light up
yeah, man.
Yes,
when
man.
you see
I,
mommy
wa-
Yeah.
coming.
I was just going to share that.
Yes, man, it is
Yes.
important. It is important. Sometimes they don't know, you just drop in, check on them.
Drop it.
Yes. That u-
Drop
that
Mhm.
in
used to be my
and check on
regular
them.
thing.
So they
Mm-hmm.
will know that yes, I need to do my
Mhm.
work. Mommy or daddy is gonna come to school and teacher is gonna tell them how I have been performing or how I have been behaving.
I
All
mean,
right. So all of that is necessary
yeah, man.
for the village.
I,
Bring back the village without the corporal punishment. You don't want nobody
Yes.
can beat up the put in them body.
yeah, yeah. We
No.
don't. Yeah, we don't need the corporal punishment.
We want you to be out there to correct them if they're doing
Yes.
something that you know that it is wrong. There are some out there that we really cannot talk to, and that is the truth.
That
They
is true.
don't have any respect for the elderly. So what
Mhm.
can we do about that? We report them to the parents, or we take it to the teacher. Sometimes we don't know the parents, but we are in the school community. We know
Yes.
a church friend. We know somebody who is attached to them. So guess what? We let them know. We report it and said XYZ, this is happening. You need to intervene. You need to do something about this. So there is no way that society can get better without the village. The village need to come back. We need the collaboration. We need the involvement of every single person within the village. So I just want to say once more, again, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you for my
Thank
supporters
you too.
Facebook and yeah, both Facebook and YouTube. We are here Tuesday after Tuesday. Noble, I'm gonna single you out. Yes, man. Alwyn and you alone a comment. you are here
Noble
supporting.
easy, you know.
I really appreciate that. Noble said she wants to share her testimony on the platform. I don't know if Noble testimony can go for an hour or 2 hours. So I am thinking about it where persons will just come on a Tuesday evening and just to share a testimony or share something because I want to allow her, I want to give her that chance just to share. She's one of the faithful few here, and I want to give her the opportunity to do so. So, once again, have a blessed night, everybody. Peace, love, and blessing. Welcome, Sasha Gill. Good to see you. I see you and Sister Chantel agreeing with us. Noble, you're saying that nobody's responding to your question. If a person is deaf, she's saying that sometimes you can call to somebody, tell them good morning, and they are deaf. So they didn't put up the fact they didn't hear because they can't hear. And sometimes, yes, so that can happen too. That can happen too, Noble. And that is, we cannot do anything about that. But we misjudge. We would misjudge in that situation to say, all right, we called to the person and the person did not respond.
Where you
But
put
the
it?
truth of the fact is that they cannot hear us. Have a blessed night. Love you
So
all.
God bless you. Peace out.
Peace out. Bye bye.
Wow, peace out. Go on, Sister Mary, like that. Like the peace out.